Hey guys, it's me again. So this video is actually about my interview experience, how I got this job as a flight attendant, why I decided to do this, what I did to prepare for it, some tips that I'd like to give you guys. So if you are preparing for an interview, a video interview or face-to-face interview, this is the video that you should watch because I'm gonna go into detail. I apologize in advance if it gets kind of lengthy. I'm going to try and cut it at 15 minutes, but you guys know that I can ramble on. So let's start from the beginning. Um, I never even thought about being a flight attendant, to be honest with you guys. That was never like even a thought in my head. I used to always say like, "Oh, it'd be so cool if I could get paid to travel the world. Like, what kind of job is that?" I never even thought to think flight attendant. So what happened was I was working at my previous job. I won't say the name of the company, but I was working there for about 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that, and I basically was like unhappy. Um, I was tired of doing the same thing over and over again. I had quotas. I had people to call back. I had people calling my phone, well, my work phone. I just like, it was customer service to another level. Um, so I don't know. I just kind of was like, I was getting fed up with my job, and every day I went to work, I just didn't like it. I hated it so much, to the point where like the night before I went to work, I just decided I was gonna quit. I was like, forget this. I'm gonna live on my off my savings, which you should not do if you don't have enough. I'm. This is not telling you to quit your job and go fly to be a flight attendant. Okay, this is just what I did. I quit my job. I put in my 2 weeks, and then they told me I didn't have to do my 2 weeks, so I didn't. Um, and I felt so liberated. I just started like living my life, going out with my friends, spending all my money. Um, at that job, I was working like, I don't know, like 60 hours, 70 hours a week. Like I was so constantly like held down by that job. Like I couldn't live my life. Excuse me. I was making a lot of money, but there was nowhere for me to like, spend that money. Like I was just saving it, which is a good thing. But you want to experience the fruits of your labor, like, you know. Um, so, anyways, I quit my job, and for about, I don't know, maybe maybe like 3, 4, maybe a month, I was just kind of like going out with my friends and having fun and just being carefree. And then I kind of just realized, like, you should apply for some jobs. So I started applying to jobs, and actually, it was pretty hard. People weren't calling me back. I was getting emails saying no, 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 and I was like, what the hell? I got all this experience. My resume is good. At least I thought it was, and I was just kind of confused by it, but I wasn't really tripping. I was still like feeling very liberated and like it's okay. I don't need a job right now. I'm gonna go to school and finish school, and I'm going to live my life. So one day I was on YouTube. I never used to go on YouTube that often, but one day I was just on YouTube. I was bored, and I was just watching videos, and somehow I came across a flight attendant video, and it was this guy who had just came back from Thailand, and he had showed like where he was in Thailand, what he did, and it was just so beautiful. And I was like, no way. And then I ended up on another one, and it was like a person saying how much they love being a flight attendant, all the places that they've been. So I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to apply to be a flight attendant. So I went to flightattendantcareers.com, and I applied to all the ones that were hiring. At the time, I think it was Alaskan Airlines, Virgin America, United, SkyWest, ExpressJet. Uh, I don't know. There was a lot of them. There were a lot of airlines hiring. Sorry. So I applied to all of them, and only one emailed me back at the time. I got more emails while I was in training, but there was no way I was leaving training to go to training again for another company. If you've experienced training or in training right now, you will understand why I did not give up about trying to do it again or their offer to go interview with them. Ugh, let me get this better. Okay. So, um, so I got an email and it said that they liked my application. They wanted me to do a a video interview, and this was probably about a week, maybe a week after I sent in my application that I got this. I can't really remember, but it was all pretty quickly. I got hired and interviewed all within the same month, so it was fairly quick. Um, so I, like any person, was going on YouTube and was looking up tips for video interviews. What should I do? What should I wear? Should I practice? What questions are they going to be asking? And everyone kept saying go to Glassdoor, and which I keep telling you guys. I went to Glassdoor and I wrote down like probably like 50 questions, and I wrote the questions down and I just answered them. I answered them how I would want to answer them in an interview. And I basically just studied that, and I kind of held off on my video interview. They had sent me the request, and I was able to do it like the next day. And I think I did it about 4 days after or 3 days after. I'm not sure. Whatever the last day I was supposed to do, I did it the day before. So I studied my questions, and for my video interview, I pulled my hair back, and I put on some. Did I put? I think I put on red lipstick, and I did my makeup. I got dressed from the waist up. If they would have told me to stand up, yeah, I would have been in big trouble because I had on pajama pants. Um, I set it up in my living room, and I told my parents to be quiet because at the time I was living with my parents. I told them to be quiet because I was doing an interview, and of course, my mom did not listen to me. She came in like 3 minutes into my interview asking me a question, and I was like, but yeah, I told them to be quiet, and I went over my questions one more time, and then I launched it, and it had practice questions, and I did the practice questions over and over, and I watched myself, and I watched what I was doing. I tried to take out the that I do a lot. I took out the as much as I could. Um, See, I say it a lot. And I'm not sure. Like I just tried to clean up my act before I did the interview, the video interview. So when I launched the actual interview, it basically said like you know this is your one time. Like you have this amount of time to answer this question, and good luck. And so I did it. All the questions that it asked me were questions that were on Glassdoor, so I was pretty prepared for it. Um, they didn't ask me anything that was out of the ordinary, anything that caught me off guard, and I think it gave I can't really remember, but I think it gave me like a minute before I had to answer the question, so to think about what my answer was going to be. But basically, what I did was I looked straight into the camera, like how I should be looking with you guys, but I don't. I look at myself to make sure I don't look crazy, but I looked straight into the camera. I smiled while I was answering the question. I was like, "Yeah, I would like to be a flight attendant because blah 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 blah." And I tried to pretend the the camera was the person. So that was a tip that I got from some YouTubers that are saying just look at it like interview like you're interviewing with a person. Keep eye contact, smile. Try not to do any nervous habits like this. You guys see me like do this. It's because I don't know what to do with my hands. So I try not to. I mess with my hair a lot too. I tried not to do that. Anyways, after that, I submitted it. I felt pretty confident, even though my mom like interrupted me. I still felt pretty confident. I submitted it, and I think it was like 3 or 4 days later, they asked me for a face to face interview. I kid you not, it was so quick. And I was just like, oh my God. So, I, why am I blanking out right now? I'm sorry. So, I got the email asking for a face to face interview. Of course, I was so excited. I went to my mom. I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait to do this. They gave me all of these dates, and I did it like 3 days before I couldn't do it anymore. And they basically paid for me to. I think I had positive space actually. I'm not sure. I didn't really pay attention, but They paid for me to go to San Francisco the day before, and I had to work out my own accommodations as far as where I was going to stay. I have an aunt that lives in Tracy, which is about an hour away from San Francisco. It's about 55 miles or something like that. So I went and stayed with her, and the night before, she was giving me some tips. She was just like, "Oh, take it's like a notepad holder where you can there was like a slot for me to put my resume, extra copies of my resume, and then for me to put a notepad and a pen, and I could put uh like my passport or something in there, like stuff like that. So I uh I did that. I got that all together, make sure that was all set up. I had to bring my bags with me because I was leaving the day of my interview. After the interview, my flight was leaving. So I got all my together, and I planned out my outfit. I actually wore something of hers. I didn't even wear what I brought. I wore a black and white, like not checkered, but it was like a patterned dress, and with a black belt, and it had like a little jacket with it. I wore my hair back. Um, and I had stockings on. Of course, I'm applying for a job that requires you to wear stockings. Wear stockings. And I had on some cute little Mary Jane heels that were about 2, 3 inches, not too high. So the next morning, I couldn't even really sleep. I couldn't sleep. So I didn't fall asleep until like 12. In my interview, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Excuse me. My interview, I think, was at like 8 o'clock, and of course, I'm an hour away from San Francisco, and I had to take the BART. If anybody has ever been to San Francisco, you know what the BART is. It's just like a train, kind of, and that takes about, I don't know, an hour and a half to get there. So I got dressed. I packed all my stuff. I didn't have any makeup on. I just had my hair back, and I got on the BART at like, I think it was at 5:58 a.m. That's when my BART left, I believe. I was on the BART, like running through my notebook of questions, just reading them and going over them, and just saying them and trying to perfect myself and how I was going to deliver all of these answers. And then when I got to the airport, I had about 30 minutes before I had to. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had about 30 minutes before I had to get on before I had to start my interview. So I went to the bathroom really quick and I did my makeup super, super, super quick. I mean, I put some foundation on, I put red lipstick on, I put some eyelashes, and I filled in my eyebrows a little bit. I put some water over my bun, and I walked myself over to the bus, and I got on the bus that took me to the interview. When I got to the interview, I had to change my shoes because I was in flats. And so I changed my shoes, and then I walked into the room that probably had like 8 other people in it. There weren't that many people. I kind of prepared myself for a group interview because that's what all of the YouTube videos and Glassdoor people said, that it was a group interview, but mine was not like that. It was fairly small. So I got there, and I remember YouTubers saying, be friendly, they're watching you, keep a smile. Just remember at all times they're watching you. So I tried to show my personality a little bit. I was pretty nervous, so I just like made jokes. I make a lot of jokes when I'm nervous. And so I was just like laughing with people and just trying to get to know them. And I remember I think there were like 2 people in the room at the time. And then like 8 other people came in, and gave us an orientation about how much to expect for pay, all the locations that they served, what it's like to be a flight attendant, their stories of being a flight attendant, when they became a flight attendant, how long they had been flying, all of that stuff. And then it was finally time to go to the one-on-one interview, and oh my god, I was nervous. You see the smile? This is because I was nervous. I felt it in my stomach right now just thinking about like when they came in and when they called my name, and I was just like, ah. And so we walked into a room. We actually all walked into the same room. Everything was just like separated by like walls, but there were no doors. So my interviewer was just like, if you I understand if you get off track, or if you get distracted by the other people because they're pretty loud. just let me know and we can start over. I'll repeat the question. It's not a problem. And I was just like, thank you, God, because I know that I absolutely would get distracted. So he basically asked me questions, all the questions that I found on Glassdoor. None of them were a surprise to me, actually. And I answered them the best that I could. I even messed up on something. I was like, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm pretty nervous." And he's like, "Don't worry about it. I remember being in your place," because they were all flight attendants interviewing us. So he was just like, "I remember being in your place, so just take a deep breath. It's fine." And I laughed it off. We laughed it off together. I made him laugh. I answered the questions. We went through like a scenario type of thing. Oops. We went through like a scenario type of thing. And he, oh my God. And I remember it was over. And he was like, "Thank you so much." And he shook my hand and we walked out. And he took me to his window. And he was just like, "You see that? Stop right there on the corner. You're gonna get on. That's where the bus is, and you're gonna take that bus all the way to the airport. It's like the second stop or the first stop." And I was just like, "Oh, I didn't get it." And he's like, "But you'll do that later. Right now, I need you to go into another room." I was like, "What?" So he's just like, "Good luck. Come and see me after you get this job. Like, I think that you'll get it. You're great. Blah blah blah." And I was just like, "Oh my God, you're amazing." So I sat in this room with four other people. Actually, one of them was someone that I got hired with, and she was in my training class, and she's based in my same base. So it was pretty cool. I met her, and we we ended up not being roommates in training, but at least I knew someone, you know. So it was like, yay! Like I'm not. Everybody's not a complete stranger. Um, so, anyways, we get into this small room, and we're just waiting. It's we're like talking about it. We're just like, "Oh my God, like I hope this is, like this is the last one. Like we don't have to do this again. Like I hope this means that we got it, or we're not. We were just like, conspiracy, like theories. Like what does this mean?" And we ended up seeing some people walk out, one of the flight attendants was like, "Can you? We need to close this door." I was like, "Oh my God." So all the people that were walking out, that meant that they didn't get it, and I felt so bad because one of the girls that I took the bus with walked out, and I was just like, "Oh, like hopefully, she gets it again at some point. She interviews again." So we're waiting. My friend Abby, who I went to training with, she goes first, and then it's like I don't know, like 20 minutes maybe. I'm like, "Dang, what's going on?" And so then they finally call me, and I go into this room. And it's two people interviewing me, and I felt like one of them was more nervous than I was, and the other one didn't really talk. He just kind of observed. But they asked me more questions. Again, all the ones that I found on Glassdoor. I think there was probably one question that they asked me that I wasn't really prepared for, but it was something that they normally ask in inter. Excuse me, what is going on with me right now? It's questions that they normally ask in interviews. So I wasn't too thrown off of it. I just kind of just like, well, and then I took that second to think, and I answered the question. I get by with a lot of humor, so I try to make people laugh, and to show them like my personality, because this is a people's person type of job. So I feel like if I can show them, I can make them laugh in something serious as an interview without it being inappropriate, that it's a good thing. So if you can find a way to make your interviewer, I don't know, laugh, just like with something funny. Like they asked me like, "What do you think will be your biggest struggle being a flight attendant?" And I was like, "Probably just the sleep." And they're like, "Well, how are you gonna overcome the sleep?" And I was like, "Red Bulls and a lot of naps." Like, like something that like that was real. Like I was being real, and he knew it was real because I know that that's something that he did, and the other person knew that it was real, and so they laughed because it was just like, yeah, that's how we do it too. So as long as it's not something inappropriate, um, and it relates to the job, I think you should be fine as far as like making people laugh every once in a while is a good thing. Um, they asked me a few questions, and then he basically told me at the beginning, like, he said something like, "We're gonna email you and let you know our decision." I was just like, "Oh crap." okay, I guess I didn't get it because some people were saying they got it that day, and I was just like, ugh. And then at the end, he's just like, well, Naomi, on behalf of me and the company, I'd like to offer you this job. I think you'll be a great addition. And I was just like, oh my God, like I was so excited. I totally blanked out. He asked me if I had any questions. I was like, no. I was like, honestly, I can't think of any. Um, I don't know. And he probably asked that because I was asking him questions while he was doing the orientation. Like when he was like saying certain things, I was raising my hand and I was just being engaged. And that's an important part to show that you're interested in the company. So I gave them both a hug. I was so excited. He set me down to do paperwork, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I was so happy. Um, and then I got on that bus and I was okay because I was going home with the CJO. And I went to training about a week and a half later, and I promise you that week and a half was so long. I just was like, oh, like I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. But when it was finally time to go, I was just like it's time to go. Well, I won't go into training just yet. I will save that for another video. But I hope that this video was informative as far as like what I did to get prepared for my face-to-face and my video interview. And you know, it's really funny because I really honestly never thought I would be a flight attendant. I remember being with a coworker at my last job, and she said she wanted to be a flight attendant, and I was like, why? You know, they don't get paid much. Like, are you sure you want to do that? And she was like, I don't know. And I was just like, you should research it more. And now look at me. I bet she's probably just like, so, yeah, this was such a spur of the moment type of thing. And honestly, it was the best decision I ever made. I love my job. I know that I haven't been flying that long, but it's just, I can understand why people do this for so long because it's amazing. It's like, oh, you're going to Idaho, but so what? Like, I'm going somewhere that I've never been before. I've never been to Idaho. I'm going somewhere that I've never been, and it's free. One, and I get to experience different people and different ways of doing things. Like, I think this is a good thing. Like, I love it. I personally see the glass half full. I don't see it half empty. I would never want to take this job for granted. I honestly don't know if I could do anything else after this. Like, I mean, I know that I haven't been flying that long, so I get it, but I just couldn't imagine going back to a 9 to 5. I couldn't imagine working with paperwork again. I couldn't imagine I couldn't imagine. I honestly, like, I love my job, and I hope to work this job as long as I can, and I hope to continue to appreciate it as much as I do right now. Um, I love my company. They take good care of me. You'll always see some things in the news about certain companies, and don't let that deter you from the company because not everyone is like the experience that they're reporting. Well, like I've seen stuff about racist flight attendants or flight attendants who don't care, who are mean, but that doesn't reflect the entire company. And I hope you guys take that in consideration. That I know that we represent the company, but not everyone is the same as them. Like, I'm not like a crew member that's on that some. I'm not like a crew member that I'm working with tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, granted, we should be alike. We should all be people persons or people. We all should be doing very. We should all care about our customers and deliver excellent customer service, but that's not the same for everyone. Not everyone does that, and that sucks. But you pick up the slack and you deliver an awesome experience to the passengers on the plane. I mean, honestly, guys, this is a great job, and if you're lucky enough to get your CJO, work your ass off in training and make sure you get this job and keep your nose clean for 6 months. Anyways, I will end this video now. We're coming up at 25 minutes. I will make a video on training, and I hope that it will help you guys. That one will probably be a little longer because it was a longer experience. But I hope you guys found this video entertaining and very helpful. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want to see. Comment it down below, or Instagram message me, or Snapchat message me. I'll leave the links down below for you guys to follow me. Like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. I hope that I am truly helping you guys out. Yeah, stay for that.